Hello everybody, this is your old friend RJ City, and today we'll be watching the trailer to 1977's Crash. And I know what you're saying, you mean the Oscar-nominated film Crash? No, this one's different, because this one has an exclamation mark in the title. It is Crash, exclamation mark. Because it's not just a crash, any normal, subdued, everyday crash. This is a crash with excitement. Because you know, normally things go crash and nobody cares. This is a crash that you care about. We are back in 1977. I can't get enough of this year. Seems to be a hot year for bizarre cinema. I think John Carradine is in this. I assume there's going to be cars. So without any further ado, let us watch the trailer to 1977's Crash! Exclamation mark. Ooh, I love the film. There's a jewel. There's a. Okay. Is it some sort of ancient?
There is a foolish superstition that some objects possess powers beyond anything human.
Oh no, the car is cursed?
A foolish superstition. A strange force operating in the head of a killer dog.
This is like an evil My Mother the car.
On the road.
Oh my god! A lone road, one car, one dog. She's gonna crash. She's gonna crash. Ah, now I understand. Thank you. The dog jumped out of the car?
And this word, she kept repeating this word. I'm sure. So bright. Suddenly, Oscar.
A car driven by revenge.
Get away from that car!
The power of a woman whose mind is
This is Herbie the Murder Ball. Who's wearing that car? Crash number 2. Probably crash number 3. Well, that van didn't really. That's a smooth landing. Okay.
Something wrong, Dr. Moore?
No, I've just heard that word before. What's it mean?
All I can tell you is he's an unpleasant character dedicated to vengeance, hatred, and violence. It's really an occult matter.
A trail of splintered steel and shattered glass, bloody bodies.
Oh, wow, you got 3 pylons there, so that means it's going to be another crash. It's really more explosion than crash. What are we up to? 6 now? 6 crashes? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That truck was carrying nothing. Got a helmet on? This is a scene from Blues Brothers. Okay.
It was you, wasn't it? You did it.
There is a foolish superstition that some objects possess power beyond anything human. A foolish superstition?
Is this like the... Oh no, the wheelchair! The wheelchair is possessed. The wheelchair is crashing. The wheelchair is fighting the... Jose Ferrer? Is he the wheelchair? How long is this trailer? Are we watching the whole film? Is this just the opening credits? Oh, Jesus. It's just this one long police car.
No escape from the power of the occult. Stalking like a hunter, it finds its prey.
It's gonna shoot the car? What are you gonna shoot? It's possessed! Thank you. Oh, Jesus. Another explosion? Right on cue.
When death is in the driver's seat.
It's an A Group 1 release. Well, there is so much to talk about. First of all, the movie where death is in the driver's seat, amazing tagline for a film, number one. Number two, it's my understanding that this woman was at a flea market, an ancient cursed flea market, and this guy sold like handmade goods. And he made a cursed doll, and I guess he was just selling it amongst the jewelry and whittlings. And I guess she was taken by him. He was like, be careful, this one is fucked up. And she's like, don't worry about it. And then he grinned to the camera. It was a horrible, horrible sign. And then she was driving. Where are they? It's always like New Mexico, like lone road. There's not a single person in sight. There's no buildings. There's no other cars. There's no billboards. Nothing. Just her in her car and a dog coming across the hill. He sought her out, I guess. And it was, and then the dog was possessed. Maybe the dog was possessed to fuck with her, and then the thing, because the dog is in the car. The dog is knowingly causing this crash, biting her, blah, 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 because when it goes to crash, he's out of there. He doesn't want to crash. He just wants to see the crash. And then he just says, well, that was fun. I think she was like, I have made a huge mistake buying that thing, which now possesses the car. So she's in the hospital. And I guess they take the car to the pound. Because they're like, we got to get rid of this thing. And then it starts driving. On its own. Does it run like a normal car in the sense that, will it run out of gas? Does it have to go to the gas station and try to get gas? If it blows a tire or needs an oil change, will that affect it? Or is the possession so supernatural that it usurps the limitations of the modern day car? That is my question. And then we proceed to see fucking crashes galore. This trailer is like 4 minutes long and most of it is crashes. I will say though, at one point, there's some cars like they're really old and they're like, let's wreck the shit out of this thing. There's other cars where it's like that van, for instance, was like, maybe someone on the set, their uncle had a van and they're like, please don't mess it up. So they lightly drove it into a tree and then put a big explosion in front of it. And then they cut away from it immediately. So the car is relatively intact. There's so much crashing going on that during that pileup with that truck that's carrying fucking nothing, they demolish that big, I don't know what they call it, the bed? Not the bed, but you know what I mean. The holder of the truck. I don't know how to describe a truck. I've never driven a truck before. I don't know if you can tell. It's carrying absolutely nothing. There's zero function for that truck except to be fucking destroyed. Nothing goes anywhere. Usually you hear like, oh, a paper truck tipped over and a crash and there's paper all over the highway. This truck was in another crash and surprisingly nothing is strewn all over the highway. The truck was carrying absolutely nothing. It was on its way to pick something up. The one driver in one of the pileups is clearly wearing a helmet, too. So either there's a subplot about a stunt driver who's joyriding, or they really should have hired a better editor. And then I guess because of that pileup, all these people, and maybe the car does explode, the possessed car. It does explode, but the aura, the being of that little thing is like, where do I go now? It's in the hospital. Somebody erroneously took it into the hospital. It possesses a wheelchair, of course. It's got wheels. You can crash into it like anything else. And I mean, just a tremendous, that's like a whole other movie to me. They put a camera on a fucking wheelchair and started antagonizing a dog. The dog has a broken leg, by the way. I don't know if you saw it. It has a cast with blood on it. They just keep pushing the wheelchair at this dog. And then they push it at the guy who's fighting back. And then the guy seems to take over the wheelchair. Maybe he has power over the curse. And then the curse transfers from the wheelchair back into the car. and then you get the real Godzilla versus King Kong in the wheelchair versus the car. And who's going to win that? I don't know, but now I guess, really, they've sold me. Death is in the driver's seat, and it has driven me to want to see this movie in full.